I am very excited to have Ronnie with me, who has an amazing story to share with us.
Mm,
Ronnie is a mental wellness coach, and I think that his journey will resonate with a lot of people that perhaps are at home or are in their own space, in their safe space, but they're going to realize that we don't have to suffer on your own. We don't have to go through those troubles on our own. There is so much we can do to reach out for help, so much
mm,
we can do for ourselves. And especially coming from a male figure, I think that is going to be really powerful because there is so much taboo around mental health. And there is a lot of suicide. There is a lot of people taking their lives because they can't see a way out of this
mm.
negative spiral that they get themselves into, and they don't even share with anyone. And before we lose these people. So I think this message is very, very important. It's becoming more and more evident that we need to do so much about this after the COVID. And I think that Ronnie, I'm very, very blessed that he's happy to be very open about his story because I think that's what we need. Hi, Ronnie, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good morning, and thank you for having me, Angelica. I'm grateful for being in your show, and to speak about mental health in general. Obviously, is a huge topic these days. There's so many components to mental health. It's not just mental health per se. There's definitely a lot of other components and areas and things. But yeah, I'm like I said, I'm grateful to be in your show. Thank you for having me, and I hope I can shed some light in this topic and share with the audiences this morning.
Yeah, thank you. So talk us through about what was your life like. I know that you have had a series of business and been involved in so many different businesses, and you've been
Mm.
an entrepreneur for years. Like, tell us a little bit about the backstory, where you were at in your life.
Yeah, sure. I've been in this, I suppose, in the Australian market, if you like. Originally, I'm actually from Malaysia, so I'm not born in Australia. Come from Malaysia, a Chinese heritage background. Very diverse in many ways, if you liked. Started my life at a very early age, tender age of 10 years old, in terms of working, not necessarily full time, but just
Yeah.
the way how the life lent itself to me at the time when I was 10. Perhaps a story for another day, but a lot to do with more
Yeah.
my grandmother and how she had raised me. And but then she passed away when I was 10, and that sort of sets off a trigger in many aspects of my life. And
Hmm.
yeah, and that sort of set the tone for me how I started off my life a little bit earlier than most people. And fast forward, then came to Australia um, in 1991. And ever since, I've never thought I would stay in Australia for that long. I came here just to
Yeah.
have doing my university and tertiary education. And next thing you know, guess what? I'm here 30 years later. So I'm very thankful and very grateful for all the opportunities, for all the things that that bestowed upon me directly and indirectly. And it was tough, very, very tough. But I march on. But then
Hmm.
going back to, sort of pre-pandemic, if you want to call that. Um,
Yeah.
what I've been always been doing, I had a full-on life. My career was very much in marketing, PR, events, production,
Hmm.
and in between all of that, also spending a lot of time working with a lot of non-profit organizations, and pretty much probably too many to name. It's giving a lot of my time, and I suppose a lot to stem from my childhood upbringing. But one of the things I liked most was I was heavily involved with this organization called Lions Clubs, similar to
Hmm.
Rotary. As anyone would know, Lions is, if in fact, it's the largest service club in the world.
Wow.
providing, volunteering services to all kinds of community needs. It could be
Wow.
fundraising, it could be fundraising for cataracts and whatnot. I suppose locally, one of the more well-known campaigns we have done collectively, I suppose, is we fundraise for to anyone who know Professor Ian Fraser. We have helped raise some money to Professor Ian Fraser's research, and we've cured, or he has, I suppose, cervical cancer for women,
Wow.
which is a
Amazing.
great achievement. And Professor Ian Fraser was one of the faces of the G20 many years ago. I think it was 2000. Can't remember exactly which one, but anyway. So yeah, that was sort of that, and because I'm always running around doing things and whatnot, it never stops. I feel like my week is not Monday to Friday. My week is like Monday to Sunday, and comes Monday again, non-stop. Just keep going. Given the nature of my business, deliver on projects, deal making, productions, community service, engagement. I was a PR machine. I was that guy. That guy was out there all day, every day, in different events, different engagements, in all social media platforms, to the point, people thought I was crazy. People thought I like, how many other ends of the candles can you burn, Ronnie? And but I actually love it. I was thriving on it because I loved the energy. The more I was doing, the more I enjoyed it, and the more people I met, I feel like the more I can add value to people in many respects. And I was a prideful man too, right? And suddenly have the things that I've been doing has definitely raised more than a few eyebrows, given the being, I suppose, the me. And it's very unusual to see an Asian man running around doing all this kind of stuff. So, and yeah, I was a high flyer, simply put it, in many respects. They even call me the Swiss Army knife guy, like, what don't you do? You do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. Like, are you for real? And some even call me the chameleon, not able to be adaptable and be flexible in all circumstances. And situations, and it seems like you always know what to say, have answers to anything and everything out there. People were very, how to say it, unsure of me. Some do and some don't, and some was speculate, or some will see, I see how far you're going to do this and things like that. Look,
so this was kind of like you were running like your dream life, if you like. It was your own business. You were like, managing events, running events and PR campaigns for lots of, big companies, and very well connected. And of course, in the events, you're always connecting physically with people, doing your charity work, and getting involved in lots of different causes, which was, close to your heart. So it's kind of living like a dream life for you, right? Like going like, I'm thriving here. Coming from a different country, I know how hard it is for you to establish yourself, in a different country. Nobody knows that until you actually done it, and I've done that as well. So I know exactly, and I really value what you've done. So then what happened?
It was very hard work, really, and I've no issue with hard work. I'm happy to do hard work. Be consistent in doing the hard work. It's almost like coming from our culture, as you can. If you know, I'm sure we all have a lot of Asian friends. Right? We all know is hard work is a standard thing. You just had to hard work, or work hard. And that's sort of how it was, and all that. But prior to what I was doing, like you said, my dream job, I come from a corporate background. I used to work for multinationals, right? I work in different roles, in like consulting, project management, sales management, leadership, all that kind of stuff. Working with big firms, right across Australia, local government agencies, you name it. I've worked with, and big retailers, as you probably can guess who the biggest retailer in Australia. One start with C, one start with W, and things like that. Yeah, I was fortunate, but it was very taxing. But I didn't enjoy in the corporate world because after a while, I just felt that it was just too much of those sort of politics and whatnot, and I feel like it was toxic. I decided it was not a lot of fun, but a lot of blame game and all that stuff. I was like, nah, I just didn't like that. I just want to get out of it, and hence I sort of crossing the chasm, gone into more the around, well, part of my role then, I suppose I have to be thankful and grateful that for my role being in sales and also doing marketing and whatnot and activation somehow lend itself that, actually I really enjoy this, and I transitioned myself into changing my career totally, moving into the PR marketing event space.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had a crossover, and yeah, I was having fun doing this and that, and then nonstop. It was 7 days a week. It was like merry-go-round.
So then
7 days nonstop.
so then
Yeah.
COVID hit, right? Like, is that what happened?
Yeah, and yeah, COVID was something definitely I did not expect. In fact, at the time, our business was set up for ready to really just climb the really. We was in the right position, the right time, with all the things just line up. We thought, wow, there would be a huge ride that would really take us to another level again. But funny enough, it actually gone the totally opposite direction. Rather than running up this way, we actually gone the other way around, go totally down that way. So, and it yeah, it was very it hurts me in more way than one, and it was yeah, it was very, very challenging for me. And at one stage for the team as well, and all that. There was a series of things that happened, unfolded. It was the moment you thought nothing going to be more worse, and it become worse, get worse and worse, and things sort of spiral out of control. It was, yeah, and the anxiety, the depression kicked in, all of that stuff. I was in such a horrible position mentally and physically as well. Yeah, it was just couldn't fathom.
Yeah.
And, yeah, couldn't sleep, constantly having anxiety attacks, depression. Just kept thinking about the bag. It's like rewind, play, constantly, nonstop. So it was, yeah, it was very real.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, and I saw my dad going through that. He had a business, and he had a business with his family, and unfortunately, it did not work out. And we went from having everything to having nothing, like overnight. And I saw my dad going through this spiral himself, and it was really hard on us as a family. I was only a teenager, and I feel that there were so many husbands and male figures that have gone and are going through that right now. And I think that it's probably one of the most traumatic things that I go through, because and I'm sure you're going to talk about this, but I would just, on an introduction level, is there is all the pride, there is all the the status that you've had, there is all all the the lifestyle that you've provided for your family, there is what would people think about me. There is so much into it. And I think when we met for a coffee, I was talking to you about that book that I read, The Morning Miracle. And the author was talking about, I've had cancer and I've lost all my money, and by far losing all my money, it was much harder than going through cancer treatment, because when you go through cancer treatment, people surround you with support. When you lose your money, there is nobody around. And I saw that with my dad. Everybody goes, and you are left on your own, because nobody is going to be there for you and feel that they need to support you. They just think like, it's on you, why did you do this, that's it. So you are on your own.
It was very much that. And I think this applies to any male figures in any settings, because more or less in every part of the world, generally men are the provider, right? The provider for the family, in the family, the food, the shelter, everything. It's sort of all put onto us, and we had to carry a lot of the weight on our shoulders in many respects. And by the time you add on to running a business, then you have additional responsibilities, not just
Mm-hmm.
yourself, but everyone else, the people who work with you,
Yeah.
in the whole, it's a lot to carry. It's not really for everyone, but 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 if you, I suppose before the pandemic, people just keep just doing. Doesn't matter. It just it's been doing for many hundreds of years anyway. This is just what we do. We as men, we are the hunter. We are the go-getter. Let's go
Yeah.
out there and make things happen, and try to do deals or control whatever, right? Just to ensure that we have the kind of safety that we can provide. We can ensure that that our family being looked after, and hopefully look after very well too, right? And all of those things, yeah, it's that. Talk about equal opportunities. It was very different back in the days, and compared now. Now it's sort of more equal in a sense, in some respects. But it is very hard. And I was a prideful man too. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. And these days, I just don't wear my mask anymore. I don't need to. I just taken
Mm-hmm.
my mask. I mean, at one stage, I don't know how many masks I was wearing. I'm not saying I'm not genuine. I'm a genuine guy. Just sometimes when you put a mask on, it's just to hide some certain things, embarrassment, or things
Yeah.
that you feel you don't need to share or want to share.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, as a man, we always want to put the strongest self forward
Yes.
in all circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I'm not unique. A lot of men out there do the same,
No.
right? And we are prideful. I have a certain ego, but my ego is not that to the point like I was very obnoxious. I don't think I was.
Yeah.
I like to think I still got a little humbleness in there, but these days I'm absolutely. I like to feel I'm totally humble, as much as humble as I possibly can, as real as
Yeah.
I can be. I don't need to. I'm real. I'm authentic. I'm living my life
Yeah.
authentically. Um, yes, I've lost so much,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe those things I don't need.
Yeah.
I forge a path for myself, and for many, hopefully they can aspire to, they
Yeah.
never realize that being in a spotlight, elevate themselves in society and all that. But many of them is so, wow, look at what Ronnie doing. So I want a piece of him. Or some even they will say, I just want to bring him down. Believe it or not, there was actually a lot of
Yeah.
this. People want to bring him
Yeah.
down. I
Yeah.
feel like, why are you spending so much time on me? You should be focusing your time on yourself and your career and whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I understand, some people just don't always necessarily like top puppy, whatever it is. But I just do what I need to do just to continue to grow myself, to sustain my
Yeah.
family, to elevate the business for the people that work with me, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a huge responsibility, and I suppose.
And
Mm,
yeah, with you mentioned about like, this you started, feeling symptoms in your physical body and mentally as well, like with the panic
mm,
attacks, and physically your body was, already
yeah,
giving you signs because you're not sleeping.
yep,
So a lot of people, and again, and I presume like from what you described yourself, you never had panic attacks before, right? Like was something
no,
completely new for you to be
no.
dealing with, right? Like what was
Yeah.
it first signs? Was it the panic attacks or something physically went wrong? When did you realize like things are not going well here?
Um, those who know me, they know me. I just love to have fun. I was always a great host. I was always a facilitator. I always add value consistently, in many respects. And when I say add value, it's nothing to do with money. A lot of people say add value and do things. It's like, oh, do stuff. Okay, we need to pay Ron. Ronnie's this much and blah blah blah. No, more often than not, as I said earlier on, probably I am generous, maybe overly generous, best of times, because we always had the right intention and then just to help people and all that. But when the pandemic kicked in, um, yeah, and obviously things started to dawn on me. It's like, okay, initially people weren't sure what's going on because it was,
Yeah,
still remember it was February 2020, and then
20.
leading
Yeah.
into March, and then when the world, talking about this to the news, the media outlets, and all that, and I was a huge consumer of news and social media.
Oh,
Um, and all the directions, all the facets, and everywhere is like all of a sudden it's like things become so real, it really sets in, and then all that, oh, panic. Okay, not so much panic attack at the time. It was panic as like, oh, what should we do? How do we do that? How do we
yeah.
continue? How to sustain? In this case, they say, oh, we're going to shut down everything, no events, no this, no that. It's like, clearly people don't need events. In fact, all events were shut down. All the venue, people don't need marketing as much because marketing has become less of an issue because people just never experienced it before. But clearly people still need food. The first thing people do is go to shopping, like a lot of retailers or food retailers and grocers, like, oh, let's go food, let's go. I don't know why, but people get lots and lots of toilet papers, toilet paper rolls, and that was bizarre. And food clearly, and all that, and the necessary things, to survive. I suppose the pandemic, it was so surreal. It was shocking, and then of course then dawned on me, okay, now that's that for family, but how about business? Where do we sit as a business? Obviously, we were doing work with internationally as well. So the international stuff all had to stop, chop, cancelled. It impact in other many ways as well. And yeah, it was very, very scary. And it was like, then we need to assess the impact. What's going to be like, how all this is going to unfold it. The next thing, everything shuts. Then we supposed to, get paid, and a lot of things not paid. No one want to pay nothing. We've been owe a lot. We owe a lot of money. We've been owe a lot of money. All that kind of stuff. It's Look, the long story short is I have no choice but to shut down. People go and all of that stuff. And it was very, very scary. And then all of a sudden, the income stream is just shut. And there's a huge amount of debt and whatnot. But for me, it was a little bit different. Like I thought that was the case. But then in between the 3 years, then there was another case in the sort of midway that got me another massive blip in a bad way too. Some no mention names or industry or anything out of respect. And I've forgiven all of them. Believe it or not, I've forgiven all of them. I've let go. And some people or some organization or whatever you call it, right? And they pull a rug under my feet. Again, given the fact that I work with them so much to build something amazing for the community. I can't take all the credit. I never do, and I don't care, to be honest. But it's just, I would never imagine they would do that to me. And then they got me spiraled down even further again. And I thought I was sort of coping. I was down, really scared, couldn't sleep, panic attack. My body was reacting in a funny way, and I put on 27 kilos.
So that was like the second time round. The first time around, you're still holding together. You're still kind of like, I'm kind of, kind of keep going. Of course, you kind of shut down, but you're kind of holding together. But not only until the second kind of hit came that you kind of started feeling signs in your body, really, and in your, the panic attack.
The beginning was really scary. It was definitely a place like the massive question marks, really. Still a lot of unknowns, feeling the pressure a lot more than what I wanted to feel. There was a lot of situations, challenges, circumstances in coming from all directions already. It was bad. In the midst of that, there was another massive thing happen. Look, funny part was, I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with me. One would think Ronnie, well connected, done so much for people, generous, helping, add value, and all that. You would think people would return a favor. When I was down at the bottom barrel, and guess what? Everyone left me. Everyone thought they could help. They couldn't. They all left. They didn't want to know me. They just bailed. They bailed me, and some even worse. Some even kicked. Like they knew I was down there. They make sure I'll give me another big massive kick me to the curb and just push me down. I was like, wow, I did not see that coming. I could not imagine.
I think like I said, I really saw this happening with my dad, and people, very close to us and extended family, and that we have helped so much. It's a very sad place to be. Like I saw that, with my dad, I saw that, and I think when you talk about, like, when people, when you had that second dip, I remember Tony Robbins talking about, in a room full of entrepreneurs, asking them the question, who has ever, had a deal that went wrong, or that somebody kind of like, didn't pay them or something
mm,
like that, and pretty much everybody put their hands
mm,
up. I think the reality of it, is that it's if you are an entrepreneur, like I saying, it's not for
mhm,
everybody, but it's going to happen in your
mhm,
lifetime. That you are going to come across people that are not honest, people that are not, they don't have good intentions, that they've always had the bad intention from the
mm,
start, and it can be disheartening. But I think, and we spoke about this when we kind of met in person. I'm really proud of the way that you've gone about it, because you kept trusting the process, working on yourself. And it might have been that, this whole situation had you on your knees,
mm.
like cancer had me on my knees, like you think like, how am I ever going to get out
Yep.
of this situation?
Mhm.
But you are here today.
Yep, and the health part is key. It really was very scary. I had a health scare, and
Yeah.
if anyone can relate, I'm going to talk a little bit this segment a little bit of that, and
Yeah.
before the thing happened, the body reacts mentally. As we know, our mind controls our body, right? In many respects, and the mind was just in a very very bad place, very unstable place, and it just so negative. And I was so negative, and it just all this negative energies just keep popping left right center. They always thought
Replaying.
about,
Yeah.
oh, I could be great because I could come out of that and this and not. Trust me, uh, at the time during the whole process, it was, I feel like 99% of the time was just all negative thoughts, negative, oh, what if this, what if that,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna do this, oh, so much pressure, how to deal with this, how I'm gonna get out of this thing, and blah blah blah. Yeah, just my body just couldn't take it. Just I feel like constant attack, and I ballooned
Yeah.
myself to, like I said earlier, 27 kilos to 100 and what 117 kilos. It's I was a
Yeah.
big boy. I couldn't fit on my clothes, my jeans, my pants, everything. I was tight, very tight, lethargic always, and then my blood pressure got the best, like 270. Anyone understand blood pressure?
Wow.
On standard blood pressure, normal is 120 over 80. I was on 247 over 183, and doctors say you could die, you can have a stroke, and there
Yeah.
goes your life, and you're gonna be stuck like that, or and if you're not gone, or you're like this, and it's like it was very real, and it was really, really, really bad for me, and so I was like, oh shit, and yeah, and and also the constant anxiety attack and whatnot. It was like a never-ending story, and it was very scary for
Yeah.
myself, and the sleep and all that. I couldn't sleep well, and yeah, all of that stuff, and done all the checks and scans and whatnot. And I thought, okay, whatnot.
Hmm.
And guess what happened? They found a lump in my kidney, right? And doctor said
Oh
it can
yeah.
be cancerous. I was like, oh, I was like,
Yeah.
how much more can I endure? How much more can I endure?
Yeah.
Why this so happening to me? I thought I was a good guy. I mean, then who said
Hmm.
you're good or bad? Whose definition was that?
Yeah.
Is it your
Yeah.
definition, or is it God's definition, or universe definition?
Yeah.
Who say you're right? Wrong?
Yeah.
Anyway, and yeah, and I said, why do I have to go through this? And it was very scary. The blood tests, the doctor tests, and all the scans, the MRIs, the CTs, the ultrasounds, you name it.
Yeah.
And I'm not fully clear, by the way. I probably haven't told you this, and I
Yeah.
actually have another scan coming up just to make sure that I am absolutely clear. I hope I don't. I talk about cancer, and I know you, and I really applaud you, and I have so much respect for you, for able to fight through that. Throughout my life, I've starting with my grandmother, which she passed away with cervical cancer, and many
Mm.
other friends and relatives and people I know, they
Yeah.
all seem to pass away with cancer. And I've been to more
Hmm.
times to hospital than I would like to, and I hated hospitals, and I don't like
Yeah.
hospital, I like the
Mm.
energy,
Oh yeah.
all of that stuff, and
Yeah.
it was real, very scary. So I always believe in whatever I can do to help those who suffer sickness, not necessarily have to be cancer. Yeah, to look
Yeah.
after our body, and I said to myself, this is not it. Either I take control and do something about it,
Yes.
or I'm gonna die. And there's no
Yeah.
any other way to put it. and I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
I did contemplate about killing myself. Um, like I said, people that know me, the amount of stuff I was in the community, in the society, in the Southeast Queensland,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people know me in many of the high places. To me, it was my
Yeah.
ego, my fear, all of that. All
Mm-hmm.
it's like a mixed bag of everything. It's not like a tacos, tastes good, amazing, right? None of that stuff.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was horrific. I
Mm.
couldn't fathom. I couldn't see myself. Never ever thought in my life that I will be in this predicament. But guess what? It
Yes.
can happen to anyone. Everyone thought about Ronnie's always
It
strong.
can happen to
Ronnie
anyone.
always well connected. Ronnie can always
Yeah.
get out of problems. Ronnie can this, that, and but when reality sets in, very different. Very, very different. So
Yeah.
yeah. And
And I think it's you said so many important points
yeah,
here. I think that, the body starts giving us signs,
yeah,
I think that the mind controls the
yeah,
body, it is there's so much truth in that, but I also
mm,
feel that the body is very
mm,
intelligent, and the body doesn't forget anything, and the body can give
yeah,
us answers and the
yeah,
opportunity for us to take control and heal ourselves. And sometimes it takes us so many
mm,
signs for us to finally get out of that victim
mm,
mentality mindset, like you're saying, why is this happening to me? To go, I need to take control
yep,
here. I'm not gonna, like that. And what you said really resonated with me, because when I found out I had cancer was after my emergency surgery, and they said, yeah, it's definitely cancer. You're gonna need chemo. And I asked the same questions, but I asked, I believe in God, and I was like, God, are you serious? Like cancer, stage 3? Like I've got 2 kids to
mm,
raise. I thought I was a good person. I thought I'd done everything right. This can't be true. I need to live for my
yeah,
kids. Couldn't you have given me something a
yeah,
bit, less
yeah,
serious?
yeah,
And it wasn't until 2 weeks later that
mm,
I kind of went, this is it. Like game is on. You either take this is an opportunity for you to take full control of your life, or you stay like as a victim, feeling
yeah,
sorry for yourself, which you have
yep,
done that unconsciously for your
mm-hmm,
whole life.
yep,
So that mindset shift is, and I
oh,
think health, like I say, when you start going to doctors every day,
yeah,
hospitals, people take, pricking you and
mm,
and prodding you everywhere, and
mm,
blood tests, and
mm,
it really
mm,
gets you on your
yeah,
knees, and then you were like,
yeah,
please, I will do
mm,
anything to get out of this
yep,
situation.
yep, exactly that. But then you're wondering how the hell I do that because this is uncharted territory. You've
Yes.
never experienced it
Yes.
before, and this is your health.
Yeah.
It's not like, yes, we are in a modern world. We have a lot of modern medicine, many different
Yeah.
technologies and innovations and all that. But then you still feel how, it's not like
Yeah.
Google.com. There's not enough information now. There's more
No.
than enough information to go to the moon and back maybe 1,000 times, right? But
Yeah.
still, we don't, as a victim of someone that's suffering and going through that, you just don't think straight. You just don't. And when you're
Yeah.
in that moment, in that anxiety, in that depression, in that situation, it really constantly playing left, right, and center. Like for me, like I lost friends and partners and associates and staff and everyone all abandoned.
Hmm.
Everyone abandoned. I was like, wow, I could not imagine that people would abandon me. Even the closest of friends, I thought they would be helping, and not not really.
Yeah.
And anyway, it was very, very scary for me. Very, very scary. Even my family, I was ashamed of my family. I had, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I had issues with my family, my missus as well. I remember
Yeah.
having a divorce and all that kind of stuff. It was, we couldn't talk, we couldn't resolve matters, we argues, we fight,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. It was very, very scary, and I was selfish too myself in many. I didn't know how to deal with that because I've never experienced such things, and it was a very, yeah, it was very real, very, just didn't feel I or thought I would be in that, but I did. And then asked myself,
Yeah.
and I asked the universe, I was like, why on me? Why I had to struggle so much? And at one
Yeah.
point, the loneliness, it was so scary. The loneliness I had, no
Yes.
friends, no associates, nobody. Yes, I have family, but even family, I didn't talk as much. It was so lonely.
Yes.
I don't know. I just have nobody to bounce anything. What can I do to
Yeah.
get myself out of this rut? And it was
Yeah.
really, and I'm grateful having met you. And I have been going to any engagements, events. I was so scared of meeting people. People that knew
Yeah.
me, they know Ronnie was out there. I used to be out there do like 300 events a year, sort of thing, all kind of stuff.
Wow.
It was crazy. I
Yeah.
was everywhere. Even certain key people. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna name names. Everyone wanted to throw away comments. They always say, "Oh, Ronnie, you're everywhere. Ronnie, you're here. You're everywhere. Wow, this, that." Now everyone said, "This is amazing. You are doing so much. You're like an ambassador for this city." And in fact, I am directly an ambassador, but doing all the stuff. But then all of a sudden, I'm like that. All of a sudden, oh, what's going on here? So it was like
Yeah.
I was there, and all of a sudden, the next minute, I'm absolutely at the bottom of the bottom,
Yeah.
and I couldn't find a way out for myself, and it was just so scary for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what you said is so important
Mm.
about the loneliness.
Yep.
I have worked with a lot of people who are in marriages.
Mm.
People, when they think about loneliness, they just think that you're living by yourself and you don't have anybody there.
Yep.
But I think there's so many people feeling lonely in a relationship, feeling lonely
Yep.
in a partnership.
Yep.
And I think it's not just the physicality of having somebody there,
Yep.
but it's really the mental
Yep.
support, the emotional
Correct.
support. Like I said, the how can I speak to this person here and really show my true self to this person here, so this person can support me in how I
Yeah.
need right now,
Yeah.
right? Like, and that, it's been proven over and over
Yeah.
again that loneliness is one of the biggest diseases,
Mm.
in our society
Mm.
these
Mm.
days. And I don't, people shouldn't only think about
Mm.
loneliness,
Mm.
uh, with just being alone in a
Yeah.
room, but it's more than that,
Yeah.
right?
And it's not good, because for anyone that has suffered mental health, you cannot be in a room by yourself. You cannot stay in one place, facing the one wall, which many people do. They stay in the house, they don't go out,
Yeah,
whether they're with family or no family. They will just keep spiraling down. I hate the word spiraling down, but it felt
yeah,
like keep spiraling down. We actually
yeah,
want to spiral upwards, not downwards. And the more you sit
hmm,
with yourself, the more you think, the more it's like a deep dark abyss. You just
yeah,
keep doing down, 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 which is not great. And look, the long and short is, I found a way out for myself, and there was some messages that pops in me, the calling, and I was watching YouTube and Netflix and a few things, and there's some messages. It just keep coming to me. It's almost like keep hitting me, hitting me, hitting me. It's like, hey, there's a voice. Hey, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. You can't do this.
yeah.
You must get up. You must get up. You need to fight it. You must come out of these things and whatnot.
Amazing.
And then next thing you know, they would talk about mindfulness, talk about all of that stuff, the meditation, and oh, meditation. But I've been meditating on and off, but never consistent. But then with all this meditation
Yeah,
stuff, I was like, okay, I think maybe that's the answer. Then I thought maybe I should give this a go and see if I can, you
yeah.
know, through doing
Beautiful.
meditation can really control my mind. I think my mind's the one is being really naughty, right? Really bad, and just
Hmm.
take me to a bad place. And I say, okay, I need to take
Yeah.
control of this bad boy here. So and hence
The monkey was out of the cage, right? The monkey was out of the cage going wild.
constantly, constantly. And I always tell the people, if I tell you not to think about monkey, when you close your eyes, guess what? You just see monkey
Yeah.
in your head all the time, constantly, right? So it goes to show we can't control our mind easily. Again, but that doesn't mean you can't
Yeah.
do it. Just like going to gym, it's like when you never done the gym before, you don't know how to. But
Yeah.
once you've done it enough and consistently, you actually can control it better, right? And that's what I did,
Yes.
and I was consistent about it, and I went into meditation. Trust me, the first time meditation, like the goose, more serious
Oh,
meditation, 10 minutes is so hard to do meditation because
yeah.
you close your eyes, you just go, oh, it's like, my
Yeah.
gosh, right? it's got more pain, more craziness going to your head than what I would call controlling and having a handle of my mind. But of course, with persistence, and time, you can get better. And I did. And I went inwards. I did more research. I did more study. I looked more into spiritual and all of that stuff. And I found more and more all of that. And then I realized, oh, I actually had a spiritual awakening. And that was what it was. And each and every one of us have a life purpose, have a soul purpose. We have 9 billion people on this planet. We all have that. But it's just a matter of whether we are awakened enough to understand, to be conscious and aware of why we are here. We are here on this planet. It's not because we need to work hard. We're going to make a lot of money, so therefore we can buy all the things, all that kind of stuff. And it's materialism, which is consumed these days, which is very common. Any social media platform these days, you look at it, oh, buy this, buy that, do that, do this. It's like, but is it real happiness, true happiness? Momentarily, perhaps, but real happiness is not, which I've discovered now. And I have to say, don't get me wrong, I'm still practicing, learning on my journey. I'm so much more happy and balanced these days, knowing my true self. Yes, I might have lost my wealth. I might have lost a lot of material possessions. I've lost too much to even, I would want to say on life, all of that stuff. But I found myself, my inner joy and happiness and my peace. These days, my currency is inner peace. Inner peace to me, inner happiness and balance is the most important thing to me, not so much money. As long as I have food, I can shelter, I'm okay, and it's not like I need to buy a fancy car or go to whatever, all that kind of stuff. Not anymore. I mean, people that know me, I used to dress quite fancy. I have bespoke suits, 3 pieces, all that stuff, polished shoes and blah. These days I'm just jeans and t-shirt guy. Today I'm wearing this because it's a little bit cold. And I'm a lot more basic, bare bones, go to the basic. I don't need to, I'm just living my life authentically, with integrity. That's who I am. And this is what I want to be, and I will continue to be. And this is me, the new identity. And I've have many learnings. So it was great. I've learned to, biggest learning was letting go of my fear, letting go of my ego, and letting go of my judgment. Not being judgmental, but a lot more to be humble, to be truly humble, to be authentic, to be me, right? And that I found so much joy, real joy and happiness. And I'm fully awakened. If you want to even say in such way, I'm out of the matrix. I'm not, in the I'm plugged myself. I'm conscious. I'm fully conscious now. I'm aware. And get to see, people talk about in a rat race. They talk about, oh, you're in rat race. You just keep constantly doing stuff, chasing all the stuffs. But ultimately, what are you going to do? What do you get? Is that real happiness? You got more cars, more things, more whatever. But are you happy? But funny enough, I'm sure not everyone's going to agree with me, but most people would say having more of everything doesn't necessarily bring real or true happiness.
And I think there's so many important things that you've said here, from that moment when you start asking questions and you start receiving answers, right? Which I think it's so beautiful. People sometimes they ask me how, what did you know? How did you know the answers why you got the cancer? Because I ask God, why do I have this? I wanted an answer, and I was open to receiving the answer, regardless of what the answer was. And I think when we open ourselves up to asking a question and to receiving the answer, regardless of what it is, not hoping that the answer is going to be what we want. We start receiving answers from life, like you said. You start getting the messages. You need to, go about your life in a different way. You just need to start meditating. And like you said, meditating. And then what is that going to do? You sit there and your mind's going crazy. You think, right? At the beginning, you're like, I remember when I started meditating during cancer treatment, I'm like, this is useless. I'm going crazy in my mind. This is not doing anything. This is just pointless. But it's it's the persistent, isn't it, that I believe that a lot of people struggle with. You know, a lot of people, like you're talking about the rat race, the matrix, you know, the physical material stuff, you
Mhm.
know, they can't bear to stay with themselves,
Yeah.
within themselves,
Mhm.
because they're so deeply
Yeah.
unhappy that, you know, and a meditation of 5 minutes will highlight that
Yeah.
to you very, very quickly,
Yep.
because you are always busy. You know, like when you look at your life, you're always busy, events and parties and this and that. So you really didn't have any time to connect to
No,
yourself.
no, definitely not. And one thing I've learned throughout this awakening, and this, you can call it a process or whatever you want to call it, uh,
Yeah.
the last 3 years, and one thing I've learned for sure is I've learned to love myself. Right? I never know how to love myself. I'm not saying people don't love themselves. You know, never really love. My love was, you know, was external, outward facing. The loving to me was
Yes.
to give, you know, to be generous, to look after
Yeah.
somebody else. It could be acquaintance, could be someone you just met now or just then, or someone
Yeah.
that, you know, your family or friends, associates, or business partners, you know,
Yeah.
your staff and all that. And I was just give, 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 give. You know, for me was through them to validate my existence, to, you know, to stroke my ego that Ronnie is great, Ronnie can do this, that, and all that stuff. And but I now realized, well, in actual fact, through all this whole process, my spiritual waiting, I kind of realized, oh my gosh, I failed to love myself. You know, like
Mm.
inwards is all about outwards.
Mm-hmm.
I never had realized I need to set a stronger boundary, which I, you know, I was very loose around that. So some people took advantage of me, you know, and I let that happen because I thought, because I need
Yeah.
to give, I need to help, you know, why not? You know,
Yeah.
people come to me, I should be polite and to help them, if, you know, especially in a community, the non-profit scene and all of that stuff, I should help and
Yeah.
give and all that stuff. But I realized it's all about, as we say in the spiritual world, you know, you can't, if you can't fill your cup, you know, fully, you can't pour your cup to somebody else's cup. And that's so true.
Yeah.
And we need to love ourselves first, to be
Yeah.
completely
Mm.
and utterly looking after us in all aspects, our mind, our body, and our spirit,
Yeah.
so that we know who we are when we're stable, when we're secure, you know, when we know who we
Yeah.
are, then we can help other people, but not before
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
that. So I've come to learn through this, and I consistently meditate every day, every day. No kidding. I don't even miss a bit,
Yeah.
every day. And I get up at
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning and I meditate. Initially it was hard to do 10 minutes. These days I can easily do 1.5, 2 hours meditation. But then
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
your meditation, right, you come out of it, you feel like, oh, I feel like I was gone for 5, 10 minutes. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
there's so many things that you can. It's you are in a blissful state, you know,
Yeah.
and your body, you have a better control of your mind. And I gradually, over a period of time, just like Jim, you know, you kind of say, you know, it's new, you know, it's Christmas, it's end of the year, I'm gonna eat a lot of stuff, drink a lot, and put on so much weight, and comes January 1st, I'm gonna sign up a membership, I'm gonna lose the weight, I want to look like Chris Hemsworth,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You know, that's, even if you want to
Yeah.
look like Chris Hemsworth, you need to allow for 12 months or 6 to 12 months to really consistently do
Yeah.
your program to reach that level, you know what I'm saying? So same with meditation, and it took me a
Yeah.
while to get to the healthy, balanced, blissful version
Yeah.
of me. It does require a bit of a time, and
Yeah.
consistency. And these days, it's I'm really happy. I'm balanced. Not 100%. I still have, like, every now and then moments of that,
Yeah.
because there's still what I call residues in your mindset, your
Yes.
body, and you slowly need to ground yourself, release this energy, you know, and be strong. And sometimes there's certain things as you come across, and it might reminds you that it's like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
this negative energy, negativity is not coming to my mind, my body,
Yeah.
my spirit. Off you go. You have no room for you there.
Yeah.
That kind of things and whatnot. So I've learned so much and I've grown so much. Then I found my life purpose, and I kind of realized my soul mission. I'm actually here as a awakened self, right? My one self, my one true self, is I'm here to help and guide others. Okay,
Yeah.
and how to find them their true self, to be the one
Mm-hmm.
self, you know, to
That's
to
beautiful.
living in the world of matrix, if you want to call that, you know,
Yeah.
to unplug us and be consciously aware of our actions, the things we say, the things we
Yeah.
do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and how to be truly happy with ourselves, right? And happiness is not more material wealth. Don't get me wrong, we're living the material world. We still need a little bit of that. We can't be like
Yeah.
totally on the other side of the spectrum, you know. It may perhaps
Yeah.
become like a priest or a monk or whatever. It's like, I don't need any of this stuff. But
Yeah.
mind you, not no 9 billion people on this planet are going to want to be a monk or a priest. You know what I'm saying? It's all about finding the middle ground, the balance, achieving true happiness and enjoying life for what they have and for themselves first, and then for their family, and then friends, I suppose,
Yeah.
and the community. So yeah,
Yeah.
and
I think
meditation.
that's incredible. Well
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Meditation. I
So
think what you say, there's so many important things here. Like,
yeah, yeah,
once you've had the awakening, is to put the habit in
yeah,
practice. A lot of
yeah,
people struggle with habits and
yeah,
actually the action of doing something, right?
yeah.
Like I
Mm,
said, they sign up to the gym, and there is a massive percentage of people that don't even go to the gym. They
correct.
think just by signing up, they already lost all the weight.
Yep.
So, once you start putting the meditation into a habit and into a practice, and then
Mm,
you started building that connection with yourself, and understanding who you were and loving yourself, right?
yep.
Which,
Correct.
before you didn't have a reason to do that because you were busy and you were getting your love from the outside world.
Yep.
And I do feel that as human beings, we need to go through suffering, and a lot of it, to be
Mm,
honest, to be awakened.
mm-hmm.
Because when the suffering is a little bit like that, we keep going the way that we were before, because it's easier. When you go through a massive change in your life, you just really buckle
Yep.
down and you go, no, wait a second, I need to reset here.
Yep.
And like you said, this is a step by step process. And
Yep.
it's so beautiful that you kept showing up to yourself every single day, regardless of, today I had a good one, meditation. The next day my monkey was going crazy in my mind.
Yep.
I
Correct.
think people really struggle with the actual action, that they can do. You can't go to the doctor and ask the doctor to meditate for
No.
you.
And talk about doctors. I refused. I didn't want to see a
Yeah,
psychiatrist. I don't want to be on prescription medicine. I don't want my name to be
yeah,
registered. Again, that was what my fear kicked in, my pride and all that. I didn't want to. I feel like I can deal with myself. I'm sure a lot of people can resonate
yeah,
with me, you know. But but trying to deal with it, never thought I would have find the answer, but I found the answer to
yeah,
myself, my healing, and I think the important part was when you're going through all that, your subconscious mind, right, is the one that really play havoc in us, because our subconscious mind is actually 30,000 times more powerful than our conscious mind.
powerful.
And
Yeah,
all the things that we do on a daily basis, certain repetitive stuff, is just stored in there. It's like a hard drive, you know.
yeah,
But a hard drive is not
yeah,
easily accessible to reprogram it and
yeah,
into more positive thinking, positive action, all that. And funny part, meditation is actually a way of doing it, achieving it as well.
yes,
And also, to me, I was also listening to the likes of all the meditation mantras and the
gurus.
chants,
Yeah,
and then the subliminal, uh, all those meditation stuff.
affirmation.
Subliminal,
Yeah, your
very powerful,
meditation.
very powerful reprogram and stuff. And I did all of that stuff. And more importantly, is dealing with my shadow. I call it and I've been
Yeah,
through the dark night of the shadow. Anyone that can resonate with this, understand spiritual awakening, we all have to go through the process of dark night of the shadow. So essentially, all your wounds, all your insecurities, all your
yes,
your ego, or the bad things, it's all
yeah,
reside in us, in our head. You bring it all up into the
yeah,
surface, right? And then you got to deal with every single one of them and trying to heal every single one of them, right? Such that you
mm-hmm.
can absolutely let go and truly inviting unconditional love, the real pure
Yeah,
love into our hearts. Our heart, as an organ, is 60,000 times more energetic, right, compared with all organs in our entire body, right? I'm sure people
mm,
would have known we actually are a vibrational being, right? People say, what the
yeah,
hell is vibrational being? What kind of language are you talking about? But we are all a vibrational being. In fact,
yes,
every single thing on this planet with Mother Earth, everything is vibrational. If you zoom enough, using microscope, zoom enough, any materials, plastic or no plastics, or cars, or human cells, or whatever, all vibrating. The atoms and molecules, we are all vibrational beings. We do
mm,
carry like our energy signatures with us, energetic.
yeah,
So we do vibrate, right? But the thing is, how can we help ourselves through meditation? Is one way to raise our
yeah,
vibration. The more vibration that we raise ourselves, the more positive we can be, the more magnetic we can be, and we can attract beautiful things into our life. And hence people call the law of manifestation, right? How to manifest things. But you can't manifest, or mind you, you can. Manifestation, especially when you put out the signals out to the universe, it doesn't judge you, right? Whether if you put out negative mindset and signals, guess what? The negativity will come back to you. If you put in the positive things, the good things happening to you, it will come back to you too. But you must be in alignment with the vibration, right? So that we can happiness and joy and bright people that bring you to the fold, right? Like for example, connecting with you, Angelica, I feel like our vibration, my energies match, and we connected, and I'm so grateful for that, right? And it's all about that, and dealing with all our demons in our mind, our body, and our spirit. And it took me a while, and I'm still dealing with it. I'm not saying, if you say, oh, I'm completely healed.
Exactly.
It's a never ending journey.
Never ending. It's a never, exactly.
Doing it. It's a bit like if you want to be looking like Chris Hemsworth every day, then you need to keep doing it every day, sort of thing. It's not like, oh, but I go now 12 months. Okay, I'm going to stop for the next 12 months. No, it doesn't work like that. It's like a rubber band effect, right? When you pull, when you let go, guess what? It's going to go back to original form. So you just have to keep slowly pulling and stretch just so your mind can be more open, more receptive, more able to receive, all the goodness and the blessings that can come to your mind, body, spirit. But you need to be open-minded with it and be consistent in what you do. And meditation is actually only one part of the process that I try to deal with my own mental health, depression, anxiety. There are actually a lot of other components and steps that you need to make it as an entire process, you call it, or program, to really to deal with that in such a manner that it have lasting positive effect on our mind and our body and our spirit. And so that was what I did, and it worked really well for me. So and I've helped a few in many respects, which I'm really happy, to be honest.
I think your story is so incredible that you stuck to the process and you were happy to accept where you were and work, put that one foot in front of the other, but kind of putting your butt on the line. I think a lot of people, there is a lot of talk, but there is not much action. And I think that's where, you every single day you start showing up in a different way. And that in itself is a habit. And I think that's when people don't understand the power of when you start making those small changes, you start becoming a new identity, like you talk about. And that doesn't happen overnight. It's just a step-by-step process.
It is.
And you kind of kept trusting and doing the work that you needed to do every single day. A lot of people think manifestation is just sitting in the sofa humming, and hope that the $1 million is going to come in while they haven't gone out for a walk. They haven't gone, they're just watching the news of, feeding themselves to negativity. So, that is not, you can't manifest anything from a place like that, from a place of lack. And I think that's so important that you just really kept going.
Yeah, totally. And talk about news and coming from a place of lack. As I mentioned earlier on, and I was that guy which is so consumed with news and social media, I guess. But I abandoned all the news. I don't read news anymore. I don't subscribe to all the online stuff. I don't use social media. Total disconnect. And I was the guy was out there, like really out there, constantly. People they know my life because I used to post like every half an hour or however 15 minutes. Right? People know exactly what I do for the whole day. Everything that people are mean, right? I total disconnect, right? I don't subscribe to news. I don't want to tell me what's going on out there. And I always say, so what if you tell me the news out there? What can I do to change it? I can't, right? I don't need to be in control of that. So, but I need to give myself the time to look after myself first. As I said earlier, look inwards, right? All the negativity, things that doesn't like harm and all that stuff. Just all cast it all aside as much as possible. All these baggages and whatnot, and learn to forgive. Forgive all the people, right, has ever done you harm. Now treat you badly and all that. Forgiving is actually very, very powerful. But forgiving them is not because you got a big heart. Yes, we do have a big heart, but forgiving them is about letting go of those heavy, negative, dense, low vibrational energy so that you free yourself. You free yourself from
Yeah.
the poison. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can move on and you can live your a lighter, happier, balanced life, right? It's whatever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it is karma. Maybe my past life, I'm here. I need to. They have to
Yeah.
trigger that in my life, and I pay back. Or fine, fair enough. But about forgiving is very, very powerful. You need
Yeah.
to forgive and move and find within. When you can find within, find your true self, and be authentically with yourself as
Yeah.
oneself. That's brilliant. And like you said, do the walking, connect with the nature, go to the
Yeah.
forest, hiking, go to swim in the ocean, because the salt
Yeah.
water
It's
is pretty
beautiful.
powerful. You can help you to ground your energy. You can do wind wash. People probably say, what is wind wash? As in, you can go to the ocean, just stand there for half an hour, let the wind to blow you, and it will take away a lot
Beautiful.
of the negativity. You feel a lot balanced, lighter, happier. Sound
Mm.
wash is another method. And by the way, meditation is not just sitting down like this meditation. Meditation comes in a lot of different forms as well. Meditation
Mm-hmm.
could be just walking, not putting AirPods or iPods in a ear, but just
Yeah.
walking, nothing, just be still with yourself, and then you'll be surprised sometimes certain things will come to your head, ideas and thoughts. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of different ways of forms of meditation, engaging, being out there with the nature, and you be one with them, and you feel a lot more happy and balanced that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, that worked really well. And then gradually, and I say gradual, like me, I'm gradual, slowly open up myself, connecting with
Yes.
people that you feel that vibrates with you on the same energetic
Mm-hmm.
level, resonates with you. And it's not about scorecard now, it's not about more is better, it's about quality, working with the right people,
Yes.
people that you feel that really they can add value to your life, and then you can add value to
Mm-hmm.
your life and what you do. And this is exactly what I'm doing now. And again, I'm very grateful,
Amazing.
Angelica, for for being your show, and I really enjoy it. And yeah, so that was the
So how can people connect with you? I think that's the most important. How can people connect with you, reach out to you if they need, help or
yeah.
coaching?
Yeah, so I don't have I'm just trying to build a website and stuff. I've been helping a lot of people, not because I'm doing it for business purposes. These days I just help because I just want to help them, in many ways. Depends on what they want to do, and the donations they care to give me. It's not like stipulate a certain price per se. Yeah, but in the meantime, I suppose people can reach out to me on LinkedIn, which I'm sure you can post
Yeah.
that information.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I suppose
I will.
email, that's at this point in time. Yeah, I really hope
Yeah.
that
Perfect.
I will
Cool.
continue this journey and
I'll add your contact.
help as
Yeah.
many people
Yeah. I'll
possible.
add your
And by the way,
contact.
it's not just men per se. It's also
Yes.
women, and kids as well. And one thing I suppose I didn't get to mention was during the whole 3 years of the pandemic, I had a few guys and a few of us, and all also not all, but a few of us actually had mental health situations, and we established a mental health charity. It's called the 𝗏𝗟𝗖𝗄𝐶 Foundation. The
Uh-huh.
movement called Chase the Energy. We want to chase the energy
Beautiful.
to amplify us, our body, our mind, spirit. So now that we're doing a lot of programs for young kids at school,
Oh.
so that kids because a lot of people don't understand or underestimate how much pressure our kids went through
Mm-hmm.
during pandemic, and they didn't know how to deal with
No.
mental health or
No.
anxiety and all that. And there's so much anxiety that's going on at school, and depression and all that. And we were fortunate that we have some amazing supporters that support us to do more with the school kids, and we do it through active living, as in through sports, engagements,
Yeah.
education, and classes and all that. Yeah, so we
Amazing.
are very happy with that, and we
I'll
just
add the
we just want
details
to
as
keep
well
going.
if you have a
Yeah,
website
yeah,
for the
yeah,
charity. I'll
yes.
definitely add the website as well,
Thank you.
so people can check it out.
Yeah,
But thank you so much, Ron. Thank you so much for being so open,
yeah,
for being so real and raw. And this is why I wanted to do this conversation with you, because I knew you would be very real and raw. You were an example of what one can in face of so many challenges, really taking
mm,
charge and putting one foot in front of the other, and rebuilding your life and yourself again despite of. I think it's much easier to be a victim, right? It's much harder to reconstruct yourself. And I think,
Yeah.
you are an incredible example of, how you have revealed yourself and your life again. It's just incredible. Thank you so much for your teachings and for spending an hour with us here, like sharing everything.
Thank you so much. And one last thing before I wrap this up with you, is as I said earlier on, I put on 27 kilos and I've lost the kilos of my waist, and there is a way of doing it, and I have a method. And for those actually interested to find out how to easily, trust me, I've done all kinds of diet and weight loss program over the years. I found this one actually works so well for me, and I hope that this will work well for others. It's a fairly simple method, believe it or not, and it actually worked, and actually brought my physical health side in more alignment and balance, and that affected my mindset as well, and my energy level and all of that. So yeah, for anyone's out there, men or women, doesn't matter, we don't judge. Yeah, if you're interested in a program, very happy to share with you as to what I did, and in fact all those things I've experienced, very happy to share and I'll tell you, no sugarcoating, as is, what I went through, how I went through it, how I came or on top, if you want to call that, or healed myself. Yeah, that's probably a better word. How I heal myself and still healing myself on this journey. And so I like to share that. And thank you, Angelica. And she's amazing too. I mean, she gave me a few tips around the things that she's doing, what a plant-based food, the healthy eating and dieting and all that. And I think it's really amazing. And these days I'm pretty much plant-based as much as I can. Occasionally I still do some protein, but most times just plant-based, vegetables, vegetarians and all that. And I quit drinking, believe it or not. I just don't drink. The only sort of things, sometimes soft drinks, but more so water, H2O, things totally changed my life around. This is a different version of me, a better version of me. And Angelica, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful, truly appreciate your time, for having me in your show. I really, really, very grateful for that.
Thank you. You're amazing. I will speak to you very soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.